Similar figures. So when two things are similar, it means they have the same shape, the same angle, but their sizes are different. Alright, so if we're looking at two different shapes, we've got our triangle there, we've got our triangle there. These aren't quite exact, but these represent similar figures, because if I looked at the angles would be the same. If I looked at the side lengths would be proportional, but they'd be different. Okay? So, those are called corresponding sides and corresponding angles. Okay? If I had sides on, say, this, or this triangle was twice as large as this triangle, and this had 4 length sides, this one would not have sides of length 4. This one might have sides of length 2, and then maybe this is also 2, and that would be a 1. And they would correspond. They would have the same, they would be proportional. Okay, so if I made a proportion out of them, all right, my side length, this side in my large triangle over my side length of my large triangle, my smaller one, would have the same proportion as this side over this side. Okay, and we can see that those are proportional. Right, so these are corresponding sides. All right, corresponding angles are not proportional; they are the same. Okay, so if this angle is 20 degrees, this angle here is 20 degrees as well. Okay. All right. So to identify similar figures, you're really just going to be checking to make sure that they are proportional, their corresponding sides are proportional, and their corresponding angles are equal. Okay. Rectangles are easy for the angles because it's all 90 degrees. So all rectangles have corresponding angles, right? All the angles are the same in a rectangle. They won't all have sides that are proportional. Okay? If we look at these two and we set up our proportion, okay, for my smaller rectangle, I have a long side of 4 and a short side of 1. And in my larger rectangle, I have a long side of 10 and a short side of 3. And if I do my, back to last couple lessons, cross product, okay, this is 1 times 10, which is 10. 3 times 4 is 12. And 12 is not equal to 10. So these are not proportional. All right, the side lengths are not proportional, which means these are not similar figures. All right, even though they do have the same angles, they don't have corresponding sides. Okay. So now if let's look at this one. This one is even easier to figure out and to check. All right, it looks fairly similar. They're both triangles, but we can quickly see that the angles are different, and if the angles are different, they're not corresponding. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention, and I'm going to scroll back up here to the top. It doesn't matter if your figures are oriented a different way. So this doesn't change, right? These are still similar figures. And it doesn't matter if it's in a different location. These are still similar figures. All right? It can be upside down, it can be inside of one another. It's still going to be a similar figure if they have corresponding angles and corresponding sides. All right. So when we get down here, we've recognized that these are not similar just because the values or the angles are not corresponding, and those values are different. If we look at this one, if I am trying to check to see if these two are proportional, I'll set up my proportion. And you can do this one of two ways. All right, I could say that this upper length, right, this 1.5 in my small figure is a ratio with the same side, the corresponding side on my larger, in this case, trapezoid. All right, and then this 2 has the same, is proportional to 12. Okay, so I can have a ratio where this is the corresponding sides in the ratio, 1.5 over 9 is equal to 2 over 12, or I could have it so I have 1.5 over 2 is equal to 9 over 12. Okay, and either way, I'll get the same answer. Okay, it'll come out to be the same. 1.5 times 12, right? If I'm doing my cross product, 1.5 times 12, 1 times 12 is 12. 0.5 times 12, or half of 12, is 6. So that would be 18. 2 times 9 is 18. So these are proportional. Or I'm doing the same thing. 9 times 2 is 18. 12 times 1.5 is 18. So either one of these proportions will work. You can set it up either way. All right. And once you know that these two figures are similar, I can say, okay, this angle right here is 70 degrees. So this angle is also 70 degrees because they're similar. And because I know that the angles should be the same. The corresponding angles are the same.